All right, now recognize Representative Zach Nunn, a gentleman from Iowa. Mr. Nunn is a proud veteran of the United States Air Force and a member of the House Financial Services Committee, Ag Committee, and Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. We appreciate you taking your time to be with us today. And you have 3 minutes, give or take.
Very good. Hey, first of all, to the Vice Chairman, to the Chairman, to the bipartisan nature of this budget hearing, thank you very much for having the opportunity to really listen to some of the recommendations and solutions coming from not only frontline members, but from members who have experienced this both at the state legislature and candidly in our own budgeting process with our own families. These are the kind of recommendations that are not only common sense, they're important for us across the board. I hear consistently about the good work that this committee has done back in my home district when it comes to things like passing legislation that provides for no tax on tips for frontline workers, no tax on overtime for my first responders, no tax on Social Security for my seniors. The accomplishments here are putting real money back in working families' pockets, and that is the #1 way that we grow our economy. We've proven it in Iowa, and it's now a playbook for the rest of the country. Today I want to discuss something, though, that's also very important to folks back in Iowa, our spending challenges. And DC, by far, is one of the worst at making sure that we balance our budgets. In my home state, we take a common sense approach when it comes to funding. It's the same thing that farmers do, Main Street businesses do, and families do. It means you live within your means. And when you work hard, you earn a paycheck, you make sure that you're not spending beyond that and putting yourself in a real dangerous position. Most recently, we had a challenge with a foolish partisan shutdown, and it hurt families in my district. And one of those families reached out to me. Dr. Sarah Massey is an OBGYN. She's a great mom of 3. She lives in central Iowa. And she knows about taking care of both families and also timely responses for critical emergencies. And so tragically this year, when Sarah lost her husband, she did what any good mother would do. She reached out for her Social Security survivor's benefits. Not only help take care of her 3 kiddos, but make sure that she had the opportunity to be sustaining going forward and to receive the money that she'd paid into Social Security. But instead of being able to receive the benefits that she had paid into, she was met with delay, red tape, no answers, and her family suffered for 43 days. When she reached out to my office, we were able to open a door and help her family out. But it shouldn't have to be like this. I can't help but ask the question, not just for Sarah, but for people across Iowa, what happens when there are no resources left in Social Security because of the spending habits of DC? America now is set on a path of a $38 trillion debt. If Congress continues on this path, Social Security will run out by 2032, leaving benefits for over 500,000 Iowans without their full retirement or their survivor benefits that they paid into. Back home, families like Sarah's budget every dollar. They make it through tough days, and they answer the tough calls by staying and living within their means. Our state government reflects that hard work and ingenuity. In Iowa, we turned a deficit of $2 billion surplus by balancing the budget and letting taxpayers keep more of what they earned. And I believe it's time that Washington start doing the same. Iowans demonstrate what's possible. Hard work, common sense, and living within our means is the best way not only to help keep government in check, but grow our economy. Challengingly, I think we all saw over the last 4 years an administration that was spend happy. In fact, flushing money and taxpayer dollars to the extreme into their own programs. They lived well beyond their means and significantly added to our national debt. I believe it's well past time that we restore sensible, functional government for a people, not just across America, but in communities like mine in Iowa, to be able to keep more of their hard-earned money. Thus, Mr. Chair, in my very first week of Congress, I introduced a constitutional amendment that would require a balanced budget. It would prohibit total outlays for fiscal years exceeding the total receipts unless Congress authorizes an excess of them by 3/5 majority for those emergency situations. This resolution would also require the president to submit a balanced budget, not just a Republican or a Democrat, but all presidents, not one bloated with partisan wish list items. Washington sacrifices the livelihoods of our children and our grandchildren, our national security, and our future when they put these partisan claims in here. The last time the U.S. reached this level of indebtedness came after World War II. Congress took decades to reverse that trajectory, but through persistent commitment to deficit reduction, the U.S. was able to emerge as the leader of the free world. Today, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have the opportunity to summon the same fortitude that our colleagues in the 1940s did and possess and maintain America's leadership position on the global stage by balancing our budget. This resolution offers a simple way to restore good governance and public policy, and I believe that members on both sides of this committee can fully support our constituents' future and restore Washington's financial sanity. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back my time.
Thank you, Mr. Nunn. Great points. It sounds like Washington has a lot we could learn from Iowa. You know, I thought in Pennsylvania the budget process was broken until I came here, but at least at the end of the budget process, it was always a balanced budget. Like projected revenues would match expenditures that were appropriated, and so we need to get there. Appreciate your interest in this, and appreciate you being here with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If families, businesses, and states can do this, I think the federal government's up to the task too.
Absolutely.